All right. You want to know some details about the Ford F-350 2017 model year, specifically about Powerstroke diesel? Well, if you do, you'll stick around and watch this video. Here we go. All right, if you're here still, you're interested in details about the Ford F-350, specifically the Powerstroke. And so am I. So I want to share with some of you some things that I've learned, some things I already knew, and some of the stuff I did do research and look up and figure this all out. It's stuff that you could do yourself if you wanted to, but you're here and you chose to watch. So I'm going to tell you some useless information. Not useless, but whatever. Anyway, first thing, Powerstroke 6.7. What is new about this engine? What is the point? What is, I guess it wouldn't be the point. What is, I don't know, I think it's one of the most important things to remember about this engine. It's sort of a milestone. It's a milestone for the reason that it is made not by the longtime partnership of International, but it is made by Ford themselves. The first diesel heavy-duty pickup truck made by Ford completely. Everything is done by Ford. So they didn't outsource. Ever since I think the beginning of Ford trucks, Ford pickup trucks, and diesel engines, they have been working with International to do that team up. It started out with the 6.9 IDI engine, moved to the 7.3 IDI indirect injection, and then it transferred over to the first Powerstroke, which was the 6.7 Powerstroke. Came out in the second half of 1994. That's very important to note. That is the transition. And the 7.3 IDI and the 7.3 Powerstroke, completely different engines. They only share the displacement. So then you transition into the Powerstrokes, and that name, that badge has been with Ford ever since then. But after the 6.4, they had lots of problems with the 6.4. Lots of problems. I think it's funny that the 7.3 was around since 1994 and lasted until 2003. First half of 2003, it was still in production. That's like 9 years of production for that same engine. The 6.0 came out in 2003, and that only lasted until 2007. So you have 4 years there. The 6.7 came out, and it only lasts from 2008 to 2010, and then it's done. And they're done with International. Because the 6-liter had some problems, which can be reversed. And it can be a very reliable engine. The 6.7 can be the 6.4 can be a ish reliable engine. All the emissions junk on it made it very difficult to work with. The turbos went out all the time because of that emission stuff and what have you. Anyway, we get to the point. We get to the 6.7. It's made by Ford, and it's turning a new leaf for their company. So the 6.7, obviously it's 6.7 liters in displacement. The engine is coupled only with an automatic transmission. Both Chevy and Ford only offer that option in their heavy-duty trucks like this. When it's coupled with that, the only thing it's coupled with, it comes with 440 horsepower and 925 pound-feet of torque, which that torque number is still the highest in its class. The 440 horsepower is not anymore, and I will talk about that in a later video. Talk about that more. Who beat it? Who beat it? As far as the make of the engine, so how did they make it? What is it made out of? It's made out of, the black is made out of iron, your normal iron. Well, it's not your normal iron. It's what is it? Let me see. Compacted graphite iron. So there's your little detail that I can't continue to remember. And also the cylinder head. The head is made out of aluminum and not iron. Aluminum, not iron. As far as injection, it's directly injected. Direct injection, and it has a Bosch high pressure fuel system. 30,000 psi, I believe. I'm going to have to check that number. Hold on. It is 30,000 psi. Very high pressure. And I should have remembered that. But 30,000 psi. Direct injection. The valve train is overhead valve, your standard conventional system. 4 valves per cylinder. Aspiration, it has a turbocharger, which is very important, but there's more details that you need to know. There's 2 details that you need to know. So you have your conventional turbocharger, which creates boost and pressurizes air to go into the engine. Creates boost from the exhaust. Your variable geometry turbocharger, which came out with the 6.0 Powerstroke. You have your wheel that picks up the exhaust with your little fins on it. Picks up the exhaust and spins your wheel to create another wheel to spin to boost that air. On a conventional one, those fins that are attached to the wheel are stationary, and they just as you build up the RPM, more boost is added and you get more power. With a variable geometry turbocharger, those fins on the wheel, they can angle to a different angle and pick up the boost better. They pick up that low RPM exhaust and create boost at a very low RPM, which is very, very helpful. And then our third type of turbocharger, which is a trick question, and I only said a second ago 2 things you need to remember, but that's because the sequential turbo, which is what the 6.7 Powerstroke has both those systems. So it has a variable geometry turbocharger in the first, and it picks up low RPM pressure. And then you have your standard, which is better at high RPM. It's a great system. They work together very well to create boost at all RPMs, which is awesome. Very good system. So it's a single sequential turbo, and it also has air to water intercooler. The weight of the engine is 990 pounds dry, and it takes 13 quarts of oil to fill up the crankcase and the filter. So that's including the filter, and this engine is compatible with B20 biodiesel. So important things to know. Now we're going to move on to some towing numbers. And something to remember with the towing numbers is the fact that this is very vehicle specific. So when you add options, the truck gets heavier and you can pull less, if that makes sense. So the overall low weight is what they're after, and it's really confusing the way I just said it. But when you have a heavier truck, it can haul less. When you have a lighter truck, it can haul more. Both equal the same weight. That might be confusing, but if you think about that, it makes sense. All right, so the truck specifically that I'm going to talk about is the Ford Powerstroke 6.7, of course, not the 6.2 gas, 6.4 gas, 6.2 gas, gasoline engine. It's a crew cab, long box, and 4-wheel drive. Lots of options there, so it means a little bit less when you're towing and your payload. So 3 numbers I'm going to go after today. We're going to go after the gross vehicle weight rating, which I'll explain in a second, the payload, and your towing. So we want to start with the gross vehicle weight rating. The gross vehicle weight rating is very important, especially when you get into the realm of your commercial driver's license. When you have a combined gross vehicle weight rating, so when you have the truck's GVRW and a trailer GVRW connected to each other, the 2 of those numbers cannot go past 26,000 pounds, or you have to have a CDL. If you're below that, you're fine. And in some states, that's different. So don't quote me on every state. I'm currently in California, which is one of those states. I think it's 16,000 pounds, but I don't remember for sure. But normally, in most states, it's 26,000 pounds. So when you hit 26,001 pounds, you then have to have a CDL. Important to know. So for this truck, this F-350, the gross vehicle weight rating is 11,500 pounds. Your towing is 4,100 pounds. That's wrong. Your payload is 4,100 pounds, and your towing is 21,000 pounds. Wow, that was a lot of information. That was a lot of fun. That's fun information to know. That's important information to know when you're going to buy a truck. And you need to know that information. Plus, you need to know what you value. What is the most important to you? Is it to have the biggest numbers, the biggest engine, the most power? Could be. Are you pulling a trailer, or are you just loading things in the bed of your truck? Those are very important things to remember when buying a truck. And these details can help you with finding out that information. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed preparing and doing this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up, and then subscribe to my channel if you're new. And then this is for everybody. Even if you don't like it, and subscribe to it. If you didn't like it, okay, but leave a comment. Please leave a comment. That would be so awesome. I would be so grateful. And specifically, if you have the 6.7 Powerstroke and you have some insight, some personal insight on this engine, bad, good, the ugly, why you love it. If you have some more specific information, please share. That'd be awesome. I would love to hear from as many people as I can about this engine, to help each other, to help me learn. I would love that if you commented about this engine. That would be great. Thank you so much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.